Guys, thank you so much. We have a real serious question now that has to be looked at, and that is um, the other the other scenario. The other scenario is, which wow makes a lot of sense as well, and that is, was Assad set up? Was he set up in this whole thing? And the reason we say that is because he was winning. Russia was supporting Assad. ISIS was on the run. The United States, the Trump offensive was working on ISIS. They were, why in the world would Assad just turn around and gas his own people and then turn America? Trump was willing to let Assad remain in power. Why was there such an immediate change in 48 hours? Was Trump played? In other words, was Assad played? In other words, and I've been on the phone with a man, I'm not going to give his name, who has worked with defense contractors. He's been in the Middle East, all over the Middle East. And he worked for defense contractors, not Blackwater. But he did work for defense contractors, and he was involved, of course, in helping make sure their convoys got to where they need to go. He's seen it all. And he said there's so much lying and false propaganda. There's so much confusion. And he said he looked at the howitzers. Now, these supposable bombs that were supposedly dropped by Syrian planes, they did drop bombs, but it looks as if they hit warehouses and caches, stashes of chemical weapons that are made out of 155 howitzer rounds. Now, a 155 howitzer round can be used, and it was used all the time during the Iraqi war and the Afghanistan war, especially in the Iraqi war. It was used to make IEDs because they're very explosive, and that's what they used a lot of times. You can also take this same 155 howitzer round, and you could put sarin gas in it. And if you don't want to make the bomb to be just an explosive bomb, you could make it just a gas bomb. It blows up and there's the gas. So it's very possible, because he's seen some of the footage, and we all seen the footage, but there were howitzer 155s laying around everywhere, stacked nice and neat, while people were running and screaming and carrying babies. And so you're dealing with an absolute situation where the intel that President Trump gets, you never know what he's getting. Because what's really amazing is all of the people who hate Trump have all of a sudden praised Trump. And the media, who has been beating Donald Trump up forever, is all of a sudden praising him. And Hillary even called for the strike. And John McCain was on MSNBC this morning just glorifying Trump's move and saying this was an excellent decision. So everybody who was hating on Trump is now saying it was a great move by Trump. So it's a very that part is confusing. The big news is, what about Israel? What happens to Israel? Because when the Arab confusion gets bad, different factions turn on Israel. Now, here's the thing. The Russians have responded, and I've got their initial response now. They are saying, and I'm going to see if I can read it here, because I've been reading so much different stuff. They are going to strengthen their position in the air. So the Russian military says it will help Syria strengthen its air defenses after the U.S. strike on the Syrian airbase, according to the Associated Press reports. Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Major General Igor Konashenkov said that a complex of measures to strengthen the Syrian air defenses will be done shortly to help protect the most sensitive Syrian infrastructure facilities. Konashenkov said that the combat efficiency of the U.S. strike was very low, adding that only 23 of the 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles actually reached the airbase. Now, of course, there's going to be propaganda spinning on both sides here. We know that. He said it did destroy 6 MiG-23 fighter jets of the Syrian Air Force, which were under repair, but none of the good planes at the base were destroyed. Again, a lot of propaganda here. Everybody's giving you a different report on what actually ended up happening. So we're going to say it was highly successful. They're going to say it was pretty low. We're not very accurate. No big deal. You only blew up the bad planes. That kind of thing. So, everybody's telling their stories. Here's the situation. You have this scenario. This scenario is one that you have to look at. Was Trump given bad intel, in which he did make his reaction to the fact that children were being gassed to death? I mean, you definitely can understand it. But was who set off the sarin gas bombs? Did they set them up and then tell Assad to bomb this area? When it blows up and it's gas, Assad then gets blamed for gassing his people, and Trump then responds, and Russia then says, okay, now we got to recalculate. We're not going to respond. We're not going to do anything crazy because we know this was a setup. Was it the intel community? Was the CIA who actually really created ISIS, and the Obama administration that created the whole mess in the first place in the Arab Spring, and then pulling the troops out of Iraq early, setting up this horrific scenario? And then Trump responds. So is that what happened? Could that be what happened? A lot of folks are wondering that very question. You can't help but ask. The other scenario is this: Assad did bomb them in retribution to their loyalty against him. And Trump has responded. And now everybody's going to take a step back and see what this all means. So this is the one thing's for sure. The confusion, the author of confusion, Lucifer himself, is at work. You can know that. And some of these folks may be being deceived on both sides of the line. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Are you serious? Don't miss today's live broadcast. We'll continue to keep you up to date on what's going on in the Middle East. Pray for the peace there and pray for the people. Pray for our troops in uniform around the world, please. God bless. Very sad.